This is a Disneyland original little long-playing record, and I am your story reader. I am going to begin now to read the story of Bedknobs and Broomsticks. You can read along with me in your book. You will know it is time to turn the page when Tinker Bell rings her little bells like this. Let's begin now. Eglantine Price was a most unusual lady. She lived in an old house overlooking the English Channel. Carrie Charles and Paul Rawlins, sent to board with her during the Second World War, weren't sure they wanted to stay. Miss Price had a strange hobby. She was taking lessons by mail on how to be a witch, hoping she could help England with her magic. The day the children arrived, she received her broomstick in the mail. Deciding to leave, the children were climbing out a second-story window when Miss Price came flying out of the house on her broomstick. It was a short ride. She landed with a crash. The next morning, Miss Price gave the children a magic bed knob. You turned it on the bedpost, said some special words, and the bed would take you where you wanted to go. When the last of the lessons on substitutionary locomotion did not come in the mail, Miss Price decided to go to London and ask her teacher, Emilius Brown, what had happened. Everyone climbed on the bed, the magic words were said, and they were on their way. They found Emilius Brown selling magic tricks, horns and whistles. He told Miss Price he hadn't sent the last lesson because he didn't have it. "Filigree, apogee, pedigree, perigree," said Miss Price. Professor Brown turned into a white rabbit. After she had changed him back, Emilius told Miss Price he had gotten the magic words from an old book in his house on the other side of London. He was surprised to find the spells worked, and decided Miss Price must have some special powers. Using the travelling spell, they were soon airborne again, high over the roofs of London. The bed came to rest in front of Emilius's fine old abandoned townhouse. While he and Miss Price talked, the children explored. In the nursery they found a crumpled linen book called The Isle of Naboombu. It had pictures of animals dressed like people. Then Emilius found the volume he was looking for. It was called The Spell of Astaroth. Several pages were missing, pages which contained the magic words Miss Price needed. The trail led to a bookstore on Portobello Road. The bookman had the missing pages, which said the words were engraved on a jewel, and that the jewel was on the Isle of Naboombu. When the bookman found Paul had a book about Naboombu, he tried to get it away from him. Just in time, they all climbed on the bed and took off for the island. Instead of landing on Naboombu itself, the bed came down in a lagoon and promptly sank to the bottom. A large bear, who happened to be fishing, pulled it out. He was about to throw everybody back in, but Paul demanded to see the king. The king had his own problems. His favourite soccer game was being postponed for lack of a referee. So Emilius volunteered. Many kinds of animals were playing. A hippo, a kangaroo, a cheetah, an ostrich, and an elephant made up the blue team. The king's team, the Dirty Yellows, included a rhino, a crocodile, a hyena, a warthog, and a gorilla. Luckily, the king's team won. Emilius got the magic jewel, but lost it on the way home. Then Miss Price found that the words she needed had been in Paul's book all along. She tried them first on Emilius's shoes, then Charlie's trousers, then her father's sword, And it worked. They came to life. Feeling his work was done, Emilius set off for the railroad station, only to find that it would be hours before the next train. Returning to the house, he discovered that Miss Price and the children had been captured by enemy soldiers and taken to an old museum. He changed himself into a rabbit, with some difficulty, and followed. By the time he arrived at the museum, the spell had worn off. Miss Price told him some commandos were attacking the English coast. Looking at the armour in the museum, Emilius thought of a way to drive them off. They would use substitutionary locomotion. Miss Price said the magic words. Flags fluttered, drums began to beat, and trumpets played. The suits of armour came to life. Mounting her broomstick, Miss Price led her army forth. What a sight they made! The enemy fled in terror, and Miss Price had done her bit to save England.
Cosmic wizards of timeless times, teach my tongue the transcendental rhymes. Help my mind to find the skill, give my heart the fervent will to summon substitutionary locomotion, mystic power that's far beyond the wildest notion. It's so weird, so feared, yet wonderful to see. Substitutionary locomotion, come to me. I don't want locomotionary substitution or remote in transitory convolution. Only one precise solution is the key. Substitutionary locomotion, it must be. Substitutionary locomotion can create a state of clamorous commotion. It's the spell to quell invasion from the sea. Substitutionary locomotion is the key to guide the tide that's stronger than the ocean. I want substitutionary locomotion. It can cause the force to keep our country free. Substitutionary locomotion, work for me. Locomotion, substitutionary locomotion, substitutionary is the key for substitutionary locomotion. Substitutionary locomotion, I want substitutionary locomotion. Substitutionary is the key for substitutionary locomotion.